Sydney, I don't know if you've seen the amazing picture of Zendaya and Timothée Chalamet recently.
I have, and I have never been more excited to see Dune this weekend.
I'm hesitant to see it because I feel like my expectations are too high.
Well, that's why we have Ryan and Timo here, who got to see Dune last Tuesday.
Let's hear what they thought about it.
The year is 2021. For half a century, filmmakers have been trying to adapt Frank Herbert's sci-fi epic, Dune. First Jodorowsky, then Lynch, now Villeneuve. He who controls the spice, controls the box office.
Hey Sneak Peekers, I'm Ryan.
And I'm Timo.
Denis Villeneuve's Dune comes out this Friday, and we had the lucky chance to see it early. And now we're gonna let you know what we thought.
As a huge Dune fan, seeing this version early was a big treat, and I enjoyed it. It just feels so good getting to see a movie that I've been waiting years for. I've got some thoughts about it, but first we need to take a little trip away from Earth and head to the desert planet Arrakis.
It's hot. So, let's talk about Dune. The story of Dune is immensely complicated and large. The book itself is over 700 pages long, which makes it understandable that Villeneuve chose to split it into two parts. Dune follows Paul Atreides as his familial, intergalactic house takes over Arrakis and the extremely valuable spice that is mined from its sands. I've never read the book, but there's no doubt it's iconic, and for good reason. The world building is incredible. And in that sense, I like the story and the film a lot. But at times, I felt that it was cold and distant, partially because I found it hard to get emotionally invested in Timothée Chalamet's Paul. I'm not sure if that's because of the character itself or because of the performance, which was sometimes incredible, but other times felt a little wooden. Or maybe it's because we only get half of the story, and therefore end halfway through Paul's emotional arc. When we eventually get the second film, maybe I'll look back in hindsight and everything will fit together perfectly. But as is, not everything connected in the way I really wanted it to.
Having read the book, I don't want to say too much because not only are there spoilers for this movie, but there are for the next one as well. What I will say is that nearly all of the important story beats laid out in the novel are present and well adapted to the screen. The cast is a great representation of the many, many characters. Some of my personal favorites, Oscar Isaac really fills the shoes of Duke Leto, and Stellan Skarsgård makes Baron Vladimir Harkonnen a truly evil and menacing sight. The technical work here is all around great. The sound is fantastic and the cinematography beautiful, although at times the colors can be a little bit muted. There are some action sequences that just won't let you go, and the fight choreography is plain awesome. Compared to reading words on the page, the big screen at a movie theater is the only way to watch an all-out sci-fi battle.
Featuring interplanetary politics and gigantic spaceships, Dune is definitely a massive story. That being said, for some reason the scale didn't always match up. At times, the set pieces were awe-inspiring and I was all in, but on occasion it seemed like the shadow of the iconic novel overshadowed the film. That being said, when the set pieces hit, they hit. There is no lack of spectacle in Dune, and for that reason alone, it's worth seeing on the big screen. I did feel like Dune had a bit of a pacing problem though. It's definitely a movie that you either feel is slow but rewarding, or one that meanders and ends right when it's getting good. I was more so in the first camp, slow but rewarding, but even then I admit there were times, especially near the end, where I wish the story would move a little quicker.
On the editing front, the film works hard to communicate many of the less physical elements from the novel. There are mind readers and psychic powers that have no physical form, and yet we still have to learn about them. The story is filled with prophecy, and the film reminds us in critical moments what exactly has been foretold and how it relates to the scene at hand. But at the same time, it's never heavy-handed in reminding us about important things. I also really enjoyed the percussive score, and the CGI of both immense spaceships and even larger sandworms is just great. For people who've read the book, Dune is a great adaptation and a fun film. I give it 4 out of 5 stars.
Being unfamiliar with Dune worked both to my advantage and disadvantage. On one hand, it let me experience this incredible story for the first time, which was awesome. On the other hand, it left me in the dark about character arcs and relationships that might have made more sense if I knew how the whole story would play out. Either way, I really hope they greenlight the second film so we can get those conclusions. Overall, I liked Dune, but I admit it had areas that I didn't love. I'll rate the movie 3.5 out of 5 stars, but I will be watching it again when it comes out this Friday, and I urge you to do so as well.
Hey, did you feel that?
That's all from us. Now back to the hosts.
Thanks, guys.
I'm definitely going to see Dune because I always have support Timothy Chalamet.